Again, we are on Mem Aleph Amud Aleph, 41A3 in the top. We said yesterday that Yom Hanef, we said yesterday that on Sukkot, the holiday of Sukkot, we take the lulav for 7 days. Now, what's the reason why they take the lulav for 7 days? Meaning everybody, every Jew, once the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, they took it for 7 days. When the Beit HaMikdash was around, only by the Beit HaMikdash area, there's a mitzvah to take the lulav. But non-Beit HaMikdash area, there's no mitzvah to take the lulav. Meaning only the first day. The first day of Sukkot, there was a mitzvah. If you lived in Bnei Brak, you live there, you have to take the lulav. You live in Tel Aviv, you have the mitzvah to take the lulav the first day. The second day of Sukkot, the third day, there's no mitzvah. The only mitzvah was by the Beit HaMikdash. It was a mitzvah to take the lulav for 7 days by the Beit HaMikdash. The other 6 days, in order for you to get the mitzvah, you'd have to go to the Beit HaMikdash. If you wouldn't go by the Beit HaMikdash, you would not have the mitzvah the other 6 days. Today, today, the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. Now, if you live in Tel Aviv, you have to take the lulav all 7 days. In the past, in an interesting idea, you're taking the lulav in Tel Aviv today more than they took in Tel Aviv when the Beit HaMikdash was around. The Beit HaMikdash was around when the Beit HaMikdash stood. The only time you took the lulav is for all 7 days. You only took it one day. The only time you took it on the 6th day of the holiday, the 3rd day of the holiday. Morning, Adam. Welcome back. The only time you took it on those days was only if you were by the Beit HaMikdash. You had the mitzvah to take it over there for those days. So the Gemara says, just to bring Adam up to date, the Gemara says that the rabbis, that Rabbi Yochanan Mezakai, Hiskin Rabbi Yochanan Mezakai instituted, of course, it wasn't himself, it was with his bezdin, with the court, the idea of taking the lulav for all 7 days. That was one of his great contributions. Was this enactment? The entire day. You're talking about the food eating. You're talking about that, Ralph. What are you referring to? What do you say about the lulav? Right. That's a separate halal. That's not. We're focusing on the first point. We welcome Anna back. We're focusing on the first point. The first point of the Mishnah was that the old days when the Beit HaMikdash was around, when the Beit HaMikdash was around, the lulav was taken in the Beit HaMikdash all 7 days of the holiday. If you were by the Beit HaMikdash, you had an obligation to take the lulav. But if you weren't by the Beit HaMikdash, you were somewhere else in Eretz Yisrael, then only the first day you had an obligation to take the lulav. Is that clear, Adam? Now, when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was the leading rabbi of that generation, he made a takana that we should all take the lulav for all 7 days of the holiday. Wherever you live, whether you live in Eretz Yisrael, outside Eretz Yisrael, you have to take the lulav for all 7 days. And what's the reason why he did it? They should take the lulav for all 7 days. Why should we do more than the actual original law? The original law was when the Beit HaMikdash was around. The biblical law was the only people who had to take the lulav for all 7 days were the people who were by the Beit HaMikdash. But if you weren't by the Beit HaMikdash, you had no mitzvah. Only the first day of the holiday you had a mitzvah. And now he comes ahead and he institutes that everybody got to take the lulav. When the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, we all got to take the lulav. every day. Why? It's called Zecher Mikdash, remembrance of the Mikdash. You know, we have the sandwich on Pesach is coming up. Say Zecher Mikdash ki Hillel. This is what Hillel used to do when the Beit HaMikdash was around. He would wrap, he held, he ate it together. Amatzotu mor yochlu. He says you ate the matzah together with the maror, made a sandwich out of it. So therefore, we, to remember how he fulfilled the mitzvah with the matzah and the maror together, so we go ahead and we do Zecher and Mikdash. We remember how Hillel did it in the Beit HaMikdash. So we find that the concept of Zecher and Mikdash. So here we are remembering, we're putting on our conscience and our focus and our mind how they did it in the Beit HaMikdash. We're remembering the Mikdash. That's the idea of why they instituted this law that we all over the world have to take the lulav on all 7 days of the holiday, is to remember what happened in the Mikdash. And therefore, it becomes the mitzvah that we do on the second, between the second day and the seventh day, is a rabbinic mitzvah of lulav. The biblical mitzvah of lulav is the first day. Because, again, the biblical mitzvah of lulav is the first day for anyone outside the Beit HaMikdash. So therefore, we are fulfilling the biblical mitzvah of lulav only the first day of the holiday, and not the rest of the days of the holiday. And we see, by the way, the power of the Chachamim to protect the Torah, that we're going to see our practices. Good morning, Simon. That our practices, we do not take the lulav on the first day. If the first day comes out on Shabbat, we don't take it. Why? Because we're afraid people come to carry. So we see the Chachamim of carrying, because the Chacham, because why are you going to carry? Might carry lulav. You might carry lulav to the Chacham. You might ask the Chacham, how do you say the bracha on the lulav? How do you go ahead and do the waving of the lulav? That's how Rashi says. Why might you come carry? You might forget, and could you have a mitzvah of lulav? You might come to forget yourself. What? Same thing with shofar. Therefore, we don't. But we're going to see we're going to see in Yerushalayim. And now, so the Rambam says the whole Yerushalayim would be the mitzvah of 7 days when the Beit HaMikdash is around. Other commentaries, many others disagree that it's only by the Beit HaMikdash would be 7 days, not throughout the whole old city. You know what I mean? Only the Beit HaMikdash, maybe the courtyard of the Beit HaMikdash, to identify exactly which areas are referred to the Beit HaMikdash, but not the whole Jewish what? No, Yisraelim, who you could be in the courtyard. There are certain places you could be. Then you would have an obligation to take the lulav over there by the Beit HaMikdash.
The reason why they do 7 days is because they don't want anybody to forget.
No, rabbinic reason of 7 days because they want to remember the Beit HaMikdash. Right, so now, but the meaning would seem, we're going to see in a minute from the Gemara that the Beit HaMikdash should be on our minds, how they conducted themselves in the time of the Mikdash, and we need to remember that. We can't just be living today in today's moment. Of course, you have to focus on today, how to make today a great day, right, Adam? You get 2 Adams on the deal. But it's not only about thinking about these 2 corners right here. But it's not only about, oh, very good. It's not only about today, the mitzvah today. We have to remember the past, looking forward to the future. And that most probably is also the idea of Zecher and Mikdash. When you remember the Mikdash, that means you're looking forward to the next Beit HaMikdash. You remember what they did when the Beit HaMikdash was around. And it's not only a historical idea, but you're also to think, looking forward to the future. Okay, so a lot of times holidays are commemorating a miracle, some historical thing that happened in the past. In America, July 4th, we're commemorating independence. Right, so I'm saying you're right. Holidays of the Shavuot commemorates the giving of the Torah, Pesach, the going out of Egypt. Yes. Historical events. Right. So you're saying here also, but here it's not an historical event it's interesting. It's not like we're commemorating historical event, a miracle. Like like the Pesach and the Shavuot and the Sukkot represent certain great events that happen. We're remembering a mitzvah that we did, that we used to do. Something that we did in the past. So it's in a certain sense, it's commemorating something that we did in the past that it's not an historical, and we're looking forward to having it again in the future. I would think that's most probably the feel of remembering the greatness that we had once upon a time, that we had such a Beit HaMikdash. Now, so that's really what the Gemara is going to say right now. The Gemara opens up on 41a3. Minalan davdinan zechel mikdash. How do we know? Where is the source that we do zechel mikdash? Supposed to remember the mikdash, meaning Rabbi Yochanan comes up with this idea and his idea transformed into, created new law. They instituted law for the Jewish community. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Rabbi.
That he created this halacha that you should remember the mikdash. It's an important concept to remember the mikdash. Now the question is, how do we, we do something called Zeichel L'Churban, right? We remember the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. That's how we have Tisha B'Av, is focusing on the destruction of the mikdash. And we're remembering the mikdash itself. We're not commemorating the destruction of the mikdash. Rather, we're commemorating what they used to do in the mikdash. We're on 41a3, top of the page. So where do we know, what's the source that we do things to remember the mikdash? Now, the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, meaning, because usually when the rabbis make an enactment, usually enactment is to protect the Torah, generally speaking. Sometimes, and therefore, but this enactment has nothing to do that you take the lulav for 7 days, nothing to do with protecting the Torah. So what's the reason? Where is the source for this doing something, remembering the mikdash? I mean, we do find the rabbis make enactments that's nothing to do with protecting the Torah, like Purim and Hanukkah, has nothing to do with protecting the Torah. It's commemorating some sort of miracle, but it's not a miracle that happened. So why should you take the lulav for 7 days? Because this is what they did in the mikdash. Very good, very good. So when they made the enactment, when Rabbi Yochanan made the enactment, they should take it for 7 days. The Gemara is going to discuss the Gemara is going to say you would take it on Shabbat as well, and the Gemara I think is going to say you would only take it on Shabbat if the first day of the holiday comes out on Shabbat, and they did not restrict, the rabbis did not, since the first day comes out on Shabbat, it's a mitzvah. Not only in the Mikdash, throughout the world is a mitzvah on a Torah level. So the rabbis didn't, at that time period, it would see, they did not make a gzerah. They did not make a enactment that you can't take the lulav on the Shabbat in the time of the Mikdash, when the first day came out on Shabbat. But eventually, as you know, today's day and age, at least we hold that today that you're not allowed to take the lulav, even if the first day comes out on Shabbat. You can't take the lulav. Okay, we have to see more about that. What? Because it might come to carry. Minalan davdinan zeichel mikdash. So that's the Gemara's question. Where is the source that we do something that you do to remember what happened in the mikdash? So the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, the Amar Kro. The pasuk says, we have a pasuk in Yirmiyah. Pasuk says, Hashem says, Ki ele ale aruchalach. I'm going to bring a cure for you. U'mekotayech epaechnu Hashem. And from your wounds, from your makot, the wounds that you, the Jewish people, have gotten, I will hear you. I will heal you. Epaech lefuah. Kinidacha karaloch. The nations of the world have called you discarded, has referred to the Jewish people, Yerushalayim, as people that were discarded. Sion, it's Sion. Sion, Yerushalayim, Doresh Einla. Nobody, no one seeks her. No one is asking about her. Meaning what's going to happen is in the future that when Hashem is going to bring a salvation for the Jewish people, that's going to be a healing from the wounds that the Jewish people had, and it's going to be in response to the nations of the world who've called us, we're discarded. It's called us, it's a place that nobody is seeking. No one is interested in Jerusalem. No one is seeking. No one's thinking about her, because Jerusalem was probably the idea of being in waste, being in desolate. These type of ideas. So it was a response to Still Dorish Ainla. Nobody's interested. No one's asking. When you ask about you ask about someone, how you doing, because you're thinking about the person, you're interested in the person. But what's happening, what's going to be about Yerushalayim, that it's the place that nobody, Yerushalayim or the Beit HaMikdash, nobody's even talking about it. Michlal de Bayit Risha, which means to say that really, meaning it's something that's negative about nobody was even asking. It was such a situation that nobody's even asking its welfare. So the fact that it's a negative thing about the Beit HaMikdash, that nobody is seeking its welfare. So Michlal de Bayit Risha. That means it is appropriate that people should be thinking about the Beit HaMikdash. So therefore, that pasuk indicates that it's very appropriate that Yerushalayim, the Beit HaMikdash, should be on our heart. So since the pasuk says that Yerushalayim should be on our heart, meaning it's something negative when the Beit HaMikdash is not on our heart. So Rabbi Yochanan used that as a source to say, okay, we're going to do something to make the Beit HaMikdash on our heart. What are we going to do? We're going to take the lulav on the second day, on the third day, and the fourth day, and everybody's going to say, "What are you doing? Why are you taking lulav?" And I think really we should really make this announcement in the shul over the holiday of Sukkot. We're supposed to tell the people. Everybody, we're taking the lulav today on the second day and the third day of Sukkot. And you know why we're taking the lulav on the second and third day of Sukkot? Because we want to remember the Beit HaMikdash. We should tell the people, meaning everybody's taking the lulav all 7 days. But I think most people don't even know that the point, you hear that, Mark? Most people don't know that you're taking the lulav because you want to remember the Mikdash. So if you go ahead and you take the lulav on the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth day, which everybody does, but you don't even think about the Mikdash. So you're really, in a certain sense, you're missing the boat. The old days, they say, miss the boat. Today, they say, you missed the plane. You're missing the plane, right, Mark? The guy missed the plane because the whole purpose of taking the lulav, Adam, you hear what I'm saying? The whole purpose of taking the lulav on day 2 to day 7 is to remember the Mikdash, and the guy never even thought about it.
And on day 1, it's not to.
Day 1 is an independent mitzvah of the Mikdash, because on a Torah level, the Torah gave the mitzvah for all over the world. You take the lulav on day 1, nothing to do with the Mikdash. It's not day 1 is not about the Mikdash. It happens to be in the Mikdash is also a mitzvah of lulav the first day, but the first day of the holiday is a mitzvah in Alaska to take the lulav. Nothing to do with the Mikdash. The first
No, I
day,
understand that, but it is not to remember the Mikdash on the first day.
right? The first day has nothing to do with remembering the Mikdash. The first day, the Torah gave you a mitzvah in a Torah to take the lulav before the Mikdash was even built. There was a mitzvah to take the lulav before the mitzvah was built. Before they built the Beit HaMikdash, you had a mitzvah to take the lulav. It's nothing to do with the Mikdash the first day, but really, maybe everyone should remind us, Be'ezrat Hashem, when the holiday of Sukkot comes, we should tell the people and announce, publicize to the people, you should know you're fulfilling a certain concept. But when you're taking the lulav, we're supposed to be remembering the Mikdash, thinking about the Mikdash. This is what they did. We are reenacting, in a certain sense, we are reenacting what they did in the Mikdash by going ahead and taking the lulav on the second and the seventh day. That's what we're doing. And therefore, the Mikdash should be on our minds. And that is the respect for the Mikdash, right? Right? It's a perfect halacha. It's a perfect dva halacha for those days, right, Simon? You remind me we should say that dva halacha. So that's what you're supposed to remember. Good morning, Mom. Okay, that ends that piece. Comes a new piece. It's also, in a certain sense, you have a friend, and the friend moved to another country. If you don't say hello and you don't think about the friend, you don't reach out to the friend, you don't talk about the friend, it's not respectful to the friend. So that's the same thing. You have a mikdash and nobody's talking about it. You used to have a mikdash and you make believe in that and you don't think about it. So it's not respectful to what you once had and that what you're looking forward to in the future. You're not remembering that great thing that you had. That you had this holy thing. What is that? Yeah, that's right. We're supposed to. That's exactly right. Yaron. Mark is 100% right. We're supposed to reach out to him every so often. But where is the respect? Where what? No. Because I think he started. He's involved in another class. Thank God. But I think it's a sign of respect. When you call somebody who moved away, it means you're thinking about him, and therefore that's a very.
Today, with technology, you have just more than one friend that you can't possibly reach out.
Okay, but you understand there's certain types of friends. There's certain friends like your own are certain people on a certain level that I think we should. Okay. Now, the next thing we said, the other enactment that Rabbi Yochanan did was that he said that Yom Henef, the day that they waved the Omer, the second day of Pesach, there was a special mitzvah to bring an Omer. As you know, we count Sfira to Omer is 50. We count 49 days from the day that they brought the Omer, meaning which is the second day of Pesach. That's when we start counting Sfira, and the Torah says, and you count until Shavuot. You start from the second day of Pesach, which is the 16th day of the month of Nisan, and that's when they brought this korban. And Rabbi Yochanan, now on a Torah level, when the Beit HaMikdash was around, Mazel Tov. When the Beit HaMikdash was around, so you want to tell maybe the security guard maybe that the light went out if he knows where it is. But we're still when the Beit HaMikdash was around, maybe someone in the front, but a security guard. When the Beit HaMikdash was around, in order for you to eat from the new crop, we spoke about this yesterday. In order for you to eat from the new crop, you have to go ahead and wait for the bringing of the korban omer. The korban omer that was brought on the second day of the holiday. Then, after the korban omer was brought, then you can eat from the new crop. But until the korban omer was brought, you cannot eat from the new crop. That's what we said. Now, what happens when the Beit HaMikdash is not around? When the Beit HaMikdash is destroyed, right? You could go ahead and eat the chadash, the new crop, right? Once you brought the korban omer. So let's say, no. I mean they held the whole year. anything that took root, anything that took root, Mazel Tov. It's working now. It's on now, everybody. Thank you. Anything that took root after Pesach, right? That's called a new crop. So if something took root after Pesach, I can't eat Moreh Akiva. Adam, we introduced yesterday the idea of one of Chadash and Yashan. That means Kemach Yashan and Kemach, he said Kemach flour, because it applies to the 5 grains. We said if something took root, let's say now we are in the month of February, almost March, right? We're late February. If after Pesach, someone planted something, took root after Pesach, and that is forbidden for us to eat in Eretz Israel, and some say outside Eretz, some say even if you planted in America, or also applying, there's a machloket, that you cannot eat, for sure, everyone agrees in Eretz Israel, you can't eat from that crop until after, when the Beit HaMikdash was around, you had to wait till the Omer was brought on the second day of Pesach. Once the Omer was brought on the second day of Pesach, and they used to bring the Omer by noon, it was already definitely, was definitely brought already. They didn't wait past noon on the second. Say it again? Now we waited till, not after Pesach. We don't, today we have no Beit HaMikdash. We wait, technically, the way the Gemara says, out in the land of Israel, you wait till after the 16th, meaning on day 17. Because let's explain. When the Beit HaMikdash was around, you had to wait till the Korban Omer was brought. So that once the Korban Omer was brought, let's say the Korban Omer was born on the 16th of Nisan, let's say it was brought, you could bet your bottom dollar by noon it was already brought. So then by noon you could go ahead and eat anything that took root after last Pesach. Now there's no more problem of Chadash, because everything is now considered old. Right. What? You can eat anything. And now right, because why? Right. And anything that takes root after Pesach now would be an issue until the next Pesach. Now, so that's the halacha. Now, what happens at a time when there's no Beit HaMikdash? When there's no Beit HaMikdash, when are you allowed to eat the crop? So in Israel, on a Torah level, you could in the morning, technically in the morning, the 16th in the morning, there's no korban to be brought that day if there's no Beit HaMikdash. So the 16th in the morning, you could on Torah level eat the new crop. However, what do you say? Anything that took root after last Pesach to this Pesach, which I couldn't eat. I couldn't.
Can't really get involved with anything on the second day. Can't get involved.
No, again, I have. Let's say I have matzah. I have matzah that was from flour, from wheat, that was grown after. Took root after last Pesach. Let's say it's baked before Pesach. I can't eat it. What's it? No, non-yosher flour. I can't eat it until the next 16th in the morning. I don't have to wait till there's no korban on a Torah level. And outside of Israel, 16th. If you're not sure when the 16th is, you have to wait till the next day. If you're not sure when the 16th is, but the Rabbi Yochanan instituted that you cannot eat the whole 16th day. He says today, even though on a Torah level, when the 16th in the morning comes, you should be able to eat the grain. But he makes a takana the whole 16th, the whole day 16th in the land of Israel you can't eat, and by us will be the whole 17th. And that's what the Gemara is going to explain. What is his reason for his enactment? Okay, everybody, you got it? He made this enactment. Got it, Mr. Yohanan, right? He made this enactment that we can't eat the whole 16th. Let's say we're in the land of Israel. You can't eat it the whole 16th. Now let's see how we'll let the Gemara do some talking. V'sheyom henef, my timer. We're on 41A3 on the first column. Yes. Okay. Today, even today, with all the advances in it takes 6 to 8 months.
In other words, you're safe on anything.
For first, like, that's what you were asking. You also listed
6 months before pay.
certain.
You only really have to start worrying in 6 months.
If it takes root, yeah, but he's saying again, yeah, how much time? Yeah, but how long? How long it take root? You have to find how long did it take for seed through, and how long does that take? Because if you planted it before Pesach, and it took root after Pesach, that would be considered took root in the new year. And I don't think we have to see. It might take a few weeks. You have to see. Maybe you have to see how long it takes. You could Google that too. How much? But really, you have to look in the halacha. What's called rooting? Google is not the rabbi. But we have to see.
How we know? Really, there's no real risk until the 6 months.
No, but we have to. But again, we have to still address the rooting bit. Because if you planted it. But let's say you planted, but let's say you planted it a month before Nisan, and it didn't take root until after Nisan. That's called the new crop.
It'll still take 7 months.
Okay, I get you. You don't have this. You lost a month on your deal. You know, you don't have the 6 months. You have maybe 5 months. That's all we're saying. Okay, so the Gemara says the following: My time. What is the reason for this enactment that the whole day? Right? What is Rabbi Yochanan's chidush? Rabbi Yochanan's chidush is that the whole day of the 16th, you're forbidden to eat the new crop. You have to wait to the next day. Why? So the Gemara says, my time. Mehira yiboneh beit hamikdash. Because we're all looking forward. Ani ma'am emunah shalema, v'vias haMashiach. Mashiach should come. We're looking forward to the beit hamikdash being rebuilt. The Omru, now, if let's say last year, last Pesach, the Rabbi Yochanan would have left it on the Torah law, that last Pesach there was no Beit HaMikdash, so technically in the morning of the 16th, when the morning came, there's no Beit HaMikdash to be brought to carbon later in the day, so we should be on a Torah level. We're allowed to eat the new crop in the morning of the 16th. Second day of Pesach, everybody's looking forward to the new fresh crop of grain. We have a right to do it. But what will people say if we would have last year eaten the new crop in the morning of the 16th? This year, if the Beit HaMikdash will be built this year, let's say Beit HaMikdash will be built tomorrow, then I would say last year, when did I eat the new crop? In the morning of the 16th. So this year, I'll also come bright and early in the morning. After I'll go to early minyan, minyan, I will go ahead and eat the what? I'll eat the new crop. But since the Beit HaMikdash is around, you have to wait till the carbon is brought today. You don't just get the allowance of the morning. It just woke up in the morning and now it's time. The morning is kicked in. It's a permitted time because you have to wait when the Beit HaMikdash is around. It's not enough the morning has come of the 16th. You have to wait till the Korban Omer, that barley offering was brought. And since last year you were already accustomed to eating it bright and early in the morning, the new crop, and you were excited to eat the new crop, we're afraid you're going to go ahead and eat the new crop what? Also this year when the Beit HaMikdash is built on the 16th in the morning. And if you do that, you'll be in great violation of this mitzvah that you're not allowed to eat for the new crop, new grain, until the carbon omer was brought.
For those who are this today, you're saying it's really don't have to worry about
Till Sukkot time area. To Pesach. Right, that's the main window. Maybe, again, there might be certain things that maybe grow a little faster, might not take 6 to 8 months. Right, you look weak. There's oats, spelt, rye. You're gonna basically you're pretty safe. Now that's there. We're now in the height of the season now of Yosef.
something that's right.
Right.
Yeah, it's like-
Right. And then we discussed yesterday what would be the allowances outside the land. Outside the land of Israel, there are certain leniencies, but the Shulchan Aruch, Rav Yosef Cairo says Chadash is Asur B'Zman Hazeh. He's very clear that you cannot eat. You can't. That's what it would sound like from. You can't eat that new. Again, outside the land of Israel, you don't. If you're not when you're not living near the land of Israel, you're not in Egypt, you're not in Jordan. You have there's different opinions. Can you be lenient? Can't you be lenient? Okay. Now the Gemara says, my time. Mehira Yibona Beit HaMikdash. Hopefully, good morning, Mr. Shetrit. It's a pleasure to see you. See, he comes in and we're talking about the Beit HaMikdash being rebuilt right away. So that's a good sign. So the Gemara says, what's the issue? Mehiri Yibana Beit HaMikdash. The Beit HaMikdash, we hope, should be built right away. The Yomru, and people will say, Eshtakad, last year, Milo Achalnu B'Hei Mizrach, last year, didn't we eat early in the morning? We're talking about the second day of Pesach, Mr. Shetrit. And there's something called Chadash, the new crop that took root after Pesach. You can't eat it until the Korban Omer, the special Korban, was brought on the second day of Pesach. And that's how we count Sfirat Omer, from the time they brought the Korban. Rabbi Yochanan instituted that you cannot go ahead and when we have no Beit HaMikdash, you can't eat the new crop till after the 16th. The whole day of the 16th, you can't eat the new crop. Why not? On a Torah level, when you have no Beit HaMikdash, the morning of the 16th, the second day of Pesach in the morning, you should have a right to eat the new crop. But he says we're afraid when people get used to a certain thing, they're going to think it's always going to supposed to be that way. And sometimes it's not true. Because people will say, Eshtakad, last year, Milo Achanab, we ate in the morning of the 16th. Hashtanami, this year, when the Beit HaMikdash is built, Nechal. And we should also eat in the morning of the 16th. You know, we were waiting. We couldn't eat from the new crop until they brought the Korban. Sorry, we couldn't eat from the new crop until the 16th because last year we had no Beit HaMikdash. We had to wait till the morning of the 16th. So people are going to say that I'm waiting till the morning of the 16th. But the Inu Lo Yadi, they don't know. The Eshtakad, the Lo Havi Beit HaMikdash. Last year when there was no Beit HaMikdash, hey here Mizrach Hitir. Once it became light in the east, once it's like dawn, Amud HaShachar in the east, that allowed you to eat from the new crop. But Hashta, the Ika Beit HaMikdash. But today, this year, we're looking forward that the Beit HaMikdash will be rebuilt. And people, you're not allowed to eat from the new crop, only Ha'omer Matir. You have to wait till the Korban is actually brought. So right, they're right. There's no more remember because we have the Beit HaMikdash, right? So therefore, we're taking when we take we say we're taking the lulav. Why do we take the lulav 7 days here in New York? To remember day number 2 to 7 is to remember the Beit HaMikdash. So Mark is right. When the Beit HaMikdash would be rebuilt, it would seem we could check it up. There should be no need for us outside of the Beit HaMikdash to take the lulav from day 2 to day 7. Only on day 1. Day 1 is a mitzvah all over. So maybe we're gonna take it. Okay, so now the question, but the difference, Mark, is if we take the lulav on day 2, day 7, we're not doing a sin. But here there's but the question would be bracha latel. That would be the question. But therefore people should know why we're taking lulav, so they won't make that mistake to take it. But here there's a great concern that people are going to violate the prohibition of eating from the new crop before you're allowed to. So to protect them, Rabbi Yochanan said, therefore today, this last year, we did not eat from the new crop until waiting till after the 16th of the day. The whole day of the 16th, you cannot eat the new crop, just in case to protect that if the Beit HaMikdash will be rebuilt this year, people shouldn't make a mistake and think that in the morning I can eat. Beit HaMikdash is rebuilt, you have to wait to the Korban Omer, which should hope be Zocher. The Beit HaMikdash should be rebuilt this year, and therefore we'll have the Korban Omer. We'll wait to eat for the new crop by the time they bring the Korban Omer. I want to wish everyone, thank you very much for coming. Have a great day, everybody. So I said about 2 weeks. Right, so it doesn't take root.
They say 7 to 10, both 2 weeks for it to take root. Which means.
We haven't seen in the halacha what it says, but there is discussion about how long that is.
Well, you know, what, like 2 weeks ago. It goes back to the gross conditions after about 2 weeks, right? 15 days. Now you're saying the fastest wheat on earth grows 6 months. So you think grows 6 months from there. That brings you to Rosh Hashanah. In other words, if you want to be a
No,
strict.
5.5 months, 5.5 months, but again, if.
No, I already took off the 2 weeks.
You took off
I
the-
took off the 2 weeks. Now we're saying you planted it 2 weeks ago. You planted it Rosh Chodesh Nisan.
You have 6 months from Rosh Chodesh Nisan, you're good.
So which is basically Rosh Hashanah. So basically after Rosh Hashanah, that's if you want to be the strictest person on earth.
So that's why.
That's all flour from there is
kosher.
Right, but it might be better to start a Rosh Hashanah a couple weeks earlier. According to what he's saying. Exactly.
That's the strictest possible.
What is.
That's if you, that's if you.
Yes. Now the Beit HaMikdash is going to be rebuilt.
Assume that the longest possible time to take root, and then the quickest possible time to grow, and therefore you're as strict as possible.
Adam, it's so good to have you back. You hear me, Adam?